in the bedroom. Beyond these two situations, what is between your legs shouldn't matter. Because you are in the workplace, you are there as an employee, everybody is an employee, they are working to achieve the goals of the company. There's no need for men and women and goals and things. No need. But we find ourselves going in there as men and as women, and therefore our experience of that whole situation becomes very different because you are bringing something in a space that is not needed. Your Christianity matters when you go to your church to pray, when you are in your house to pray, maybe your home will pray. But when it comes to just doing other things out there, many people don't need to know. You don't need to know what church you go to. It is irrelevant. Maybe we're just on the field playing soccer. All that matters there is you know how to pass the ball. You know people's names. You can say pass here, you get into position, it is done. You don't need to know who your pastor is. You don't need to know how many prayers do you fast. Don't you? You don't need to know. Irrelevant. You come there and it's a footballing match. You go in parliament to discuss what? National matters. It's not about my tribe. It's not about my gender. It's not about my what. Obviously, it's not to say we can't talk about male issues. Male issues where there is unfair treatment to advance because of all these things. But not at the level where we begin to fight one another and we are reaching. Because in your mind, every day, men, which is not relevant. Limited identity is really the root of many ills. Because if we fix our identity to a point where we really begin to see one another, where we connect as human beings, above all else, before we are men, we are first human beings. Before we are women, we are first human beings. Before you get your PhD to become doctor, you are a human being. Before you become a lecturer, before you become a student, before you become an engineer, you are first a human being. Before your tribe, you are a human being. Before your gender, you are a human being. Before you become part of wealthy, poor, whatever, first you are a human being. Before you are a Christian, before you are a Muslim, before you are first a human being. And when we understand this, when this really becomes our primary identity, this becomes the thing that we go to and say, yes, I am a human being. Then you begin to relate to other human beings differently, despite their nationality, despite their culture, despite their religion, despite being part of that. Only then I think can we really get to the point where we say, I am because you are. But when we discard this, we put it in the background and we focus on trying what corruption, nepotism, racism, tribalism, and all the ugliness that comes from that. We cannot build nations. Forget about us who are even talking about Pan-Africanism, building Africa. We can't. Because we refuse to drop the smaller identities and take on an umbrella identity that can accommodate all of. But your identity is really just like I would say at this point I would liken it to a car. What we are doing now is you have a Maybe you have a convertible or a Mini Cooper that fits only 2 people. This is what you accept. You now want to carry the nation in the Mini Cooper. This is what we are attempting to do. We continue to file policies upon policy, legislation upon legislation. Nothing is changing. Because we have a car that only carries 2 people. This is your capacity. Because you are a Lambo, you are a man. Your car only carries 2 people. But you want to lead the nation, to carry them in this car. You cannot. You will always end up taking only your tribe, your whatnot. So, what expanding your identity means is that you need to get a bigger car. At this point, you even need to build an ark. Because your aspirations are to lead a nation, to build the nation. And you need a much bigger storage. And this is what it is. As long as, and this bigger umbrella here is the human being. And there's a way to get. You need to lose them. You need to sell the small car. And like, maybe you need to pack it in your garage somewhere. You can drive it occasionally, but if your aspiration is nation building, bring together the people, do what? You cannot drive this one to pack it in there. Once in a while, when you go to your village with your wife or on vacation, by all means, you can take it out of the garage and drive. It's now when you put on the head that right now here I'm a father or a husband to my wife and father to the children in that moment. But when you are here in this office, there you are the father of the nation. The nation cannot be killed in this country. It means an ark. And that is what we need to do. And really, the identity is like it kind of should be like a must in a way. What do I mean by that? How can I give an example of? This is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is Maverick. Tom Cruise is someone else in The Age of Tomorrow. Tom Cruise is another character in is Maverick in that movie with airplanes and stuff. Okay? Top Gun. That's Top Gun. Is Maverick in The Age of Tomorrow is another character. Mission Impossible is Ethan Hunt. Mission Impossible is Ethan Hunt. But at no point has Tom Cruise stopped being himself. At no point has he stopped being himself. He played all these characters and many more I can't list them, but at no point has he stopped being himself ever. It's always Tom Cruise. And that's how we recognize him is by his face. But no, this is Tom Cruise. Jackie Chan. Many movies. Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. Police Story. uh, the other Forbidden Kingdom, all manner of things. But we still know Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan, despite the many roles he has taken on. So you are a human being. Maybe you came as a man here or woman. You are born in a certain tribe. You happen to be of a certain race. You have a certain religion. But at the core, you are still human. Many of us have now traded our humanity for this sub-identity. You find that you are now more invested. It's like Tom Cruise now begins to think he's really Maverick. Just going to the army to try and fly planes all of a sudden. He has forgotten he's an actor. There will be problems, and this is what we are experiencing. We mistaken the role we have to play, and we think it's what we really or who we really are. That becomes a problem, because we need to think now that everything about you is all about men or women. It's all about the Bambos or Hereros, your tribe. It's all about blacks or white. It's all about Christianity, Muslims, or whatever, or the Baha'is, and we forget we are human beings. We bond one another, we are killing one another because of sub-identities that we have taken on. And we forget the main thing, that in the end, this is what matters the most. And if we can meet with one another and treat each other from this level, I can guarantee you there will be very little conflict in the world. Because what are we talking about? It is only human beings that can be men or women. It is only human beings that are different. It is human beings that are of different races. It is human beings who have come up with religion and who practice religion. These are things that we, subcategories that we take on, roles that we play. Once the movie is over, we must go back to our humanity. Once you are done performing your manly or womanly, go back to your humanity. You are done with your tribal elements. We go there, it's cultural festival, we put on the bamboo dress, we dance. Time for a wedding, we sing Lokola, the wife was better. Go back to your humanity. Go back. You are done with your religious prayer. You pray, you worship, but our humanity above all else. Because when we mistaken the roles that we play and we think it is who we are, the identity becomes limited and our minds clock over time. Try and serve the religion, to serve the race, to serve the tribe, to serve this, because this limited identity is the root of genocide. It is. The things that Hitler did, he identified the people that he said, these people, they are not part of him, he is different, and therefore they must. It just didn't happen to the Jews. It happened as well here in Namibia, in the Herero. There's targeting a particular group of people based on their race and saying they need to all go. Because his identity is not that of being human. it is tribal. Anytime we take on a tribal identity and we rise to a position of influence or a position of power, whoever is not part of our identity is in trouble. This is how it has been, this is how it is now, and if we don't change it, this is how it will be. Because we neglect our humanity and we focus on everything else, which is negative. From that, we have created many other smaller identities. Now, all of a sudden, there are people with male organs that think they are women. They go and chop off and do all kinds of hormone therapy. Because the mind is such that you can just decide to go a certain way and you really believe you go. Limited identity is really the root of many issues we have in this life. So if we can really get to a point where we loosen that identity, the sub-identities, and we pick up that one true identity, then our intellect begins to work for us and not against us. Because in many areas we find that there are a lot of a high rise in mental illnesses or mental disorders, and people, there's anxiety, there's depression, there's all kinds of things you name, different diseases of the mind. And many of them are really down because certain things we think we are that we are not, and our identity and our intellect is working around trying to defend this. Me and my depression, and this thing depression becomes a part of your identity because you say it's mine. I have anxiety, and this becomes an identity. And even when people try to help you come out of depression, because you have identified that you are a person who is depressed, you have identified that you are a person who is anxious, you will refuse the help that is being given you. Your mind will work to defend the depression. Your intellect will work to defend the anxiety. Because you have taken up a stance and said, this is what I am. I am anxious. I am depressed. I am poor. I am stupid. Because your mind will find excuses in the world. Your intellect walks and looks at the world. And whatever you believe yourself to be, whatever identity you have taken up, it will work to defend day and night. Whatever you believe yourself to be, whatever that identity is that you have taken on, your intellect will work to defend that identity. Even when people bring better information, you will go to your mind and just find reasons. Because if you think the world is unfair and life is unfair, you will see reasons in them. Every day, your living experience will be seeing reasons as to why everything is not safe. And this unfortunately is how this is. Because a lot of us now, because of the limited and fragmented identities we have concocted for ourselves, our intellect has turned against us. And it is working day and night against us, not for us, against us. So it's not just on a national, regional, whatever level, but even in a personal level. We need to work on this identity crisis. We need to. Because otherwise, because the society at large is a reflection of the individual's needs. So many of us are at war with ourselves. And we try to fix these things with some other external thing, but we don't fix the root, which is the identity.